Coming up, the Disney Skyliner gondola system gets moving in Walt Disney World, with the first appropriately named ghost cabins now being tested on the system. The Tower of Terror gets ready for a massive pre-Galaxy's Edge interior and exterior renovation, and the interactive Cars experience nears completion in Hollywood studios. My name is Brayden, and this is Mickey Views News.
All who come to this happy place, welcome.
Now I'm the king of the swingers.
Our largest expansion ever. We're not just building one of these, we're building two.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the first ever episode of Mickey Views News. Here we are. Take a look at this place. I finally finished the set and am back with you here. First off, I just want to apologize for being gone the last month and a half. Every time I thought of making a video the last month, I was like, you know what? I should just get this set done so I can get back to making videos full time as soon as possible. And finally, that time has come. Here on Mickey Views News, we'll be talking about all the latest breaking Disney news whenever news breaks. We don't have to wait till our weekly Friday show anymore. We'll be right here to break it all down as soon as news happens and be able to go into an in-depth discussion of that news as soon as it drops. So you may be wondering what's happening with the Magic Weekly now that we are going to be doing the news aspect of the show right here throughout the week. Well, the Magic Weekly will be back this Friday, but going forward, it will be a Q&A discussion show where we'll be talking about all of the latest happenings from the week, answering more questions than ever before from you, the viewers, while the news segment from the show will now be expanded into all of these Mickey Views News shows throughout the week. And there is no set schedule with these Mickey Views News episodes. Literally, whenever we have news to talk about, we'll be right here to break it down. So this new format of videos on Mickey Views in 2019 will mean a better way for me to put it all together for you in an efficient and timely manner on my end, and then the end result of that being, of course, more videos for you to enjoy than ever before, and me bringing those to you faster than ever before. That's the goal I've set out to achieve in 2019 here with Mickey Views. So let's do it. We have so much news to talk about. Without further ado, let's jump right in. First up in Hollywood Studios this week, over at the Hollywood Studios Skyliner station, big things are happening as multiple times now a completed Skyliner gondola cabin has been spotted being sent up from the station across the system and back into the station itself. A pretty slow pace in terms of how fast the gondola is moving here in this testing footage you can see from Blog Mickey. Let me know what you guys think. It might just be the perspective, looking from the ground up as it comes towards you. It doesn't look very fast, and also it might be slowing down as it approaches the station itself. Of course, you'll also notice that the actual cabin is wrapped. I don't think that Disney wants the actual design revealed, although they have revealed the first physical cabin, you know, at the Destination D event last year. I don't think that they want it actually visible on the line until they have more cabins on there, until we're closer to the system being complete and they're actually fully testing it with people in it and things like that. But very, very exciting stuff. In addition to the testing over at the Hollywood Studios station, the station over at the International Gateway in Epcot has also been receiving similar testing, and these photos and videos across the internet of the ghost cabins, those wrapped up cabins going up and down the system, has garnered many reactions online. First, there's the crowd who is really excited for the Skyliner system, being able to skip the road traffic. I'd say I'm definitely one of those people. Every trip now I stay at the Pop Century because the rooms are so nice and new, and of course the prices are extremely competitive. So being connected to the Skyliner station via the Hourglass Lake station there from the Pop Century is going to be awesome, and I'm really excited to ride the system. As far as wanting to use the Skyliner to skip the road traffic, personally, as someone who brings my car to Disney, I've never had any problems on the roads on property. They're all very, very nice and clean, and there's always a lot of space and, you know, a lot of lanes and all that stuff. But if you don't have a car during your trip, the road transportation available to you is the bus, which you have to wait for, and in some instances the bus has to go to other stops first before your final destination. For example, Port Orleans, there's so many bus depots around the actual resort you have to go to before you can finally head off towards your destination. So for guests wanting a new way to get to Hollywood Studios and Epcot, the Skyliner gondolas are going to be absolutely incredible. And then there are those guests out there who I've seen online who are still very worried about some operational aspects of the gondolas themselves. themselves, like for example being suspended up in the air in a cabin right in the blaze of the Florida sun, all the heat there. I don't find the heat thing to be a very big concern from an everyday operation perspective, because the speed of the gondolas has been rumored to be around 16 miles per hour during regular operation, which is very fast and extremely efficient for a gondola system. These gondolas are going to be moving fast. The trip times are very low between all the destinations on the Skyliner gondola system. I do believe they will be going a little faster than what you see here in the testing. Let me know what you guys think about what speed the gondolas are going here in this testing. The idea with the cabins having no AC units is they will have air vents, so as the cabin is moving at those high speeds, air will be rushing in and out, cooling the guests passively in the cabin as the gondola itself moves, so nobody will be hot on the inside. I personally think it's a budget decision on Disney's part for sure, but I don't think it'll be a big deal during everyday operation. And you may be wondering, why do I keep saying everyday operation? Well, that passive cooling doesn't really work when the gondolas themselves aren't moving. So if the system ever pauses, or if there's an emergency stop or something like that, that's when issues will arrive. I think Disney has already taken some precautions here for guest safety already, as the Cabin Parks chairman Bob Chapek revealed at the Destination D event late last year, does have additional vents located near the top of the windows on the cabin guests can open. So even when stationary with a little wind and fresh air and all those vents open that guests can open, everyone should be okay. But it's not ideal. And that's what the real criticism should be with this Disney Skyliner system. It's not that there aren't plenty of these Doppelmayr gondola systems with passive cooling already in use at various tourist attractions around the world. They actually work. These cabins that we're getting in Walt Disney World, this system, there's already systems almost exactly like it around the world at other ordinary tourist destinations. But that's the thing. Walt Disney World isn't an ordinary tourist destination. It's the most magical place on Earth. It's the most popular resort anywhere in the world. The Disney Skyliner system is a Disney transportation system. It shouldn't be comparable to some gondola system at a zoo. The defense of it shouldn't be, it'll work okay. It should be the best there is. The system is going to be standing alongside the monorail, the ferry, the Disney buses, and more. And you know what all those Disney transportation systems have? Heating, cooling. And something that I think is oddly more crucial for a Disney transportation system is the ride narrations. Whether you're on the bus or the monorail or the ferry, your ride is being narrated as the announcer tells you where you're going, what you're passing by. It's something that helps make the Disney transportation system stand apart from all other transportation you're used to back at home. That extra detail, that extra bit of magic. And to my knowledge, I don't even believe that these gondolas have onboard power at all, let alone speakers. So fingers crossed, maybe we get those last minute here. There's been a lot of back and forth about whether they have onboard power, but I don't believe that they do. But it's just these little omissions like that for the sake of getting the system up and running at the lowest cost possible, downgrading the standards of Disney transportation in favor of something that looks nice for commercials to draw in more guests for Galaxy's Edge. That's how we get the halfway thought through transportation systems like this, where during normal operation, it'll be great. And I'm so excited to ride the Disney Skyliner system. It's going to get people to book new trips when they see it online and be like, that's so cool. But the real problems will make themselves evident when 20, 30, during peak times upwards of 60,000 guests are going to be trying to get to their connected resort rooms at the end of the night following the Epcot Spectacular, all through the one International Gateway Skyliner station, which has a 100-foot ramp as its queue. That is where this system is going to run into some major issues, and why someone didn't do the math on things like the crowds there before signing off on this just blows my mind. So let me know your thoughts on the Skyliner system. I may sound a little too critical of it, but that's actually not the case. My real critique here is that all the criticism, because there's a lot of criticism about the Skyliner online, the criticism I see is people saying that it's too high up or it's too hot. All these silly arguments which are getting in the way of the real problem with the system, that it doesn't provide the standard of amenities all other Disney transportation systems do, and us reinforcing the standards and principles of the parks is what will keep Disney making better and better things going into the future. Exhibit A, Toy Story Land last year, one of the most immersive lands I've ever seen. I know there's still a ton of details I haven't even noticed in that land, despite having gone to it and covered it for multiple days. And then of course there's Avatar Land, which might just be the most immersive land I've ever seen. And those two were just warm-ups for Galaxy's Edge, which I think is going to you just get to a place where you are going to legitimately think you are on another planet while you're inside that land, because I just think that's the trajectory of how immersive Disney's making these lands and just how awesome they are. You know, science people talk about Walt would think this, Walt would think that. Of course, we don't know what Walt would think, but I know that he'd be very proud of what Disney is doing with these new lands because they are just themed to such a ridiculous extent. It is just incredible, and I really think that if that level of thought was applied to things outside of the lands, in particular looking at things here like the Skyliner system, it would just be unbelievable. And one quick aside to put a positive ending on the Skyliner story here, viewer Allie sent in this photo where last week this Skyliner Gondola Pin was handed out to guests at Caribbean Beach for free, and this pin just looks so incredible and so cool. So cool of Disney to hand out. I think that's just so awesome. It's these little extra bits of magic that keep guests coming back, so it's always great to see when Disney does stuff like this. That pin is enormous and so well detailed. Let me know your thoughts. Also in Hollywood studios this week, WDW Magic is reporting that the Tower of Terror will be having a major refurbishment in the spring and summer of this year. What's significant and newsworthy about this major refurbishment is that the Tower of Terror isn't going down for refurbishment, it'll actually be staying open during the refurbishment. What Disney is doing here is refurbishing half of the Tower of Terror at a time, restoring some of the broken effects and also making sure the attraction is looking great for those Galaxy's Edge crowds. Taking a look at this incredible graphic showing the ride layout of the Tower of Terror made by Martin Smith, you can see that there are 4 shafts when you're actually going through the dimensions, when you board the attraction, the themed part of the attraction, and then you actually end up at those 2 drop towers. So there's actually 2 sides to the Tower of Terror. There's those 2 drop towers, and then those are each connected to 2 of those vertical shafts. So Disney can simply close one of those drop towers in 2 of those shafts, just close one side, refurbish that half, the inside and out, and then do vice versa, while the attraction itself would remain open, operating at partial capacity. So on the one hand, if you're in Hollywood studios this spring and summer and noticing that much longer than usual wait time for the Tower of Terror, that's why. You might be wondering, why is the wait so long? But on the other hand, it's great that it's open at all, that Disney devised some way to keep the attraction open during the spring and summer during this much needed refurbishment. Really excited to see the tower get some new paint and restored effects. Last up in Hollywood studios this week, Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy is nearing completion in the park. The interactive show/experience will be located in the Sunset Showcase building, accessible by going into the Rock and Roller Coaster courtyard area and then continuing past the Rock and Roller Coaster queue entrance, going to the right there, leading you over to the theater where Lightning McQueen will be greeting guests, or is he? We're really not sure just yet. It's still very much up in the air what this Lightning McQueen show is. It makes me very interested in this show. If it is a show, what do they mean by experience? There's so much mystery around this. I'm really excited to see what exactly it is. From our inside sources in Hollywood studios, some of whom have actually seen the set for this new show firsthand, inside the theater, you will have Lightning McQueen in his racing simulator, his VR simulator from Cars 3 with the wraparound screen, and then he'll be interacting with guests where he's actually going to be on a hydraulic lift where he can be immersed in the VR screen, but also move down and perhaps move around. I think it'd be really cool if he could go off of the actual, hydraulic platform, so kids can walk up to Lightning McQueen and get photos with him and all that sort of stuff. That would be absolutely incredible. So then there can be a show element as well as a meet and greet element, really making an all-around Lightning McQueen experience that I think a lot of kids would really enjoy. Disney says it's a new experience unlike anything they've done before, so really excited to see what exactly they do there, how Disney combines the show aspect with the experience aspect, with maybe a little bit of the meet and greet elements in there as well. I almost want to say it's going to be most easily described as a stage show, but it sounds like Lightning McQueen might actually be getting into the guest area and rolling around and greeting guests, which wouldn't be like any stage show I've ever seen. Word from our inside sources is Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy will be open next month, whether that's closer to the start of the month or the latter, whether March is when it will officially soft open or officially open. There's still a lot of questions there, but nevertheless, it's always exciting to have a new attraction on the way to Hollywood studios, on the way to the parks, especially an attraction that we know close to nothing about. Hopefully a good surprise in store there. That's today's latest news in the world of Disney. Let us know your thoughts on everything we talked about on this episode, everything going on in the Disney universe. So much happening in Walt Disney World. Let me know what you think about the show. I'm going to play around with the camera shots some more in the next few episodes, see what works, see what doesn't, because we have this beautiful set to work with, so I want to do something good with it here. And we have a lot of different things that we can do in terms of camera angles and all sorts of stuff, so very exciting. Let me know your thoughts, given that we are just coming back here and have so much news to cover from all the other parks. This was just Hollywood Studios today. There will be another full episode tomorrow where we'll be talking about everything happening over in Epcot, and boy, is it a lot. We have so much to talk about. The show has no set schedule. It's whenever we have news to talk about, so some weeks it might be 1 or 2 shows, other weeks it might be 4 shows, and come the D23 Expo this summer, it's probably going to be like 10 shows in the string of a few days. Also, something I wanted to let you guys know about and officially announce here on YouTube, ever since December, every weekday morning, I've been publishing a quick audio flash briefing giving you the day's latest Disney news. It's called Mickey Views Daily News. All of you viewers who've already found it and have been listening to the daily flash briefings have given me such amazing feedback and reviews. Thank you so much. You can find the flash briefing on the Amazon store where you search Mickey Views and then the skill pops up and then you can enable it there, and then you just ask your Echo for the latest news, your Amazon Echo, and she'll say,
"Here's your flash briefing from Mickey Views."
Good day, everyone. My name is Brayden, and this is your Mickey Views Daily News for February 18th, 2019. The flash briefing is also available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and more. So anywhere, any device you have, anything that actually gives you audio like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can find it there as well. So you do not need an Amazon Echo. Also, it does not work overseas, the Amazon Echo feature. So for those of you overseas, the Apple Podcasts and Google Play and Spotify options are the way to go. Links in the description for all of that. Thank you so much for all the support. That's all for this episode of Mickey Views News. Till tomorrow when we'll have another episode. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. This is Brayden. Have a magical day.